Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mini Scroll, the daily internet culture podcast, bringing you the biggest stories from social media, the creator economy, and the digital space every Monday through Thursday, and sometimes Fridays. I'm your host, Lauren Meisner, the founder of the youth digital media brand, Centennial World. Welcome back to Mini Scroll, everyone. Before I get into it, please subscribe to us on YouTube. We are like 50 followers, 50 subscribers away from 10,000. I think we can definitely get there by the end of today or by the end of tomorrow. We also have a deep dive going up tomorrow. Very exciting for you guys. So please subscribe to us on YouTube. We are so close. And also on Tuesday, we hit 100,000 followers on TikTok on the Centennial World Podcast Network TikTok account, which is so exciting. Possibly 2 big following milestones happening this week. All right, let's get into the stories for today. So the first story, I do need to issue a big trigger warning. We're going to be talking about suicide and cyberbullying in this story. Influencer Mikayla Raines of Save a Fox has sadly taken her own life at the age of 29 after being cyberbullied. So Mikayla Raines is a 29-year-old activist who documented her experience operating a nonprofit rescue organization called Save a Fox. She founded the organization in 2017 at just 20 years old after finding an interest in rehabilitating animals as a teenager. And she had a huge online following. She built her account to over 3 million followers on TikTok and 2.4 million subscribers on YouTube. And in total, the organization had saved more than 150 foxes. Tragically, earlier this week, her husband, Ethan Raines, shared that Mikayla had taken her own life, largely due to the cyberbullying from people online, many of whom she knew, but some whom she didn't.
For her entire life, she struggled. She struggled with autism, with depression, with borderline personality disorder, and more. And she was so sensitive to everything, which is a double-edged sword because on one hand, it allowed her endless empathy for those in her care. But it also means that she took everything negative to heart. And now I want to talk about how words, whether spoken in person or written online, can affect someone. For a few years, a group of people had been throwing dirt on Mikayla's name and the rescue. Most of these are people she knew, and some of them are other animal sanctuaries. They consistently spread ridiculous claims and rumors, and being the sensitive human that she was, Mikayla took it all to heart. And to those of you that pushed her to this, every one of you that had been responsible for making her feel this way, if you only have negative garbage to say, just shut up.
Okay, this is obviously so sad, and I wanted to talk about it because it aligns with the discussions that we were having last week around tattle life and online snarking and online bullying. There's still a lot of discussion going on about the whole tattle life situation. I know a lot of users are worried that their identities could be exposed now. People are having a hard time deleting their accounts because people are worried about what the fate of that website is going to be, and they want to delete their comments and their entire accounts, and people are having a hard time doing that. And there's also a lot of people discussing why they snark anonymously. Tattlers have taken to Reddit to share why they feel justified in being part of tattle life. Obviously, there's such a spotlight on tattle life specifically right now. I don't think that Mikayla was largely bullied on tattle life, but I'm just kind of tying it back to the broader discussion of what we've been talking about. So the main things that people are saying on Reddit about why they do anonymous snark, tattle life, whatever, any of those websites. There's a lot of justification by saying that they're trying to bring awareness to child protection online. A lot of the female influencers that get snarked on have children and they post their kids online, so people use that as kind of a justification to be mean to them. And they also say it's to hold influencers accountable and keep them in line until laws and regulations and things like that catch up. The thing is, posting mean comments about people anonymously on the internet isn't doing any of those things. If you really care about holding a creator responsible for spreading misinformation, for example, or not disclosing ads or posting their kids online, either advocate publicly with your whole self so you can actually make some change and get people to join you in this, or go to the appropriate governing bodies and report them. It's the anonymity that can make this really snowball from just being concerned about something to then it really snowballing into harassment, abuse, doxing, and it snowballs into this total lack of boundaries about how people talk about creators and celebrities and public figures and what they're willing to post about them. Like, would you dox someone with your whole face and your whole personhood behind that comment? Probably not. And my head's not in the sand, okay? You know, I talked about this with the Tattle Life story last week, but like, I understand that pop culture reporting, all of this commentary stuff, like all of this contributes to a very toxic space online for creators and celebrities. Like, I understand, like, we have a role to play in that as well. But I wanted to read this comment from Reddit. So it was from the LA Influencer Snark Reddit, and I thought this comment was so good. So this was on a subreddit post about Mikayla's suicide. My hot take is when you delineate between bullying and calling out problematic behavior like this, people will just reach for increasingly thin socio-political critiques to justify the shallow bullying they actually want to do. Saying one is okay but the other isn't just gives people cover to say whatever they want as long as they can come up with the thinnest excuse as to why the target is ontologically evil and deserved it. If influencers are actually racist or sexist, unfollow them, block them, and stop talking about them. That actually hurts their bottom line. Hate following and snarking online does nothing practical to shrink their platform and, in fact, just drives more people to view their content. They keep going, and then they end with, snarking does nothing to actually stop tangibly racist, sexist, or otherwise shitty influencers from profiting. Shrinking their audience does. Snark culture just gives the participants a self-righteous head rush from being on the right side, while literally continuing to perpetuate the problem through clicks and views. I thought that comment was something to think about for sure. Mikayla's husband has said that he will continue her work with her foundation, her nonprofit, in her honor. So sad. All right, let's get into the next story for today. TikTok creator Courtney Joelle is going viral for sharing her version of quote-unquote princess treatment on a dinner date with her husband. Courtney Joelle is a creator who posts about what she calls housewife princess content. She's going super viral right now because she posted this unhinged video where she describes this, like, in my opinion, creepy dinner date that she had with her husband where she doesn't speak to the waitstaff because it's like masculine energy and she reserves that for her husband.
Let's talk about princess treatment if you're at a restaurant and how you interact with the waitstaff and the hostess. If I am at a restaurant with my husband, I do not talk to the hostess, I do not open any doors, and I do not order my own food. So someone had sent me a message a couple weeks ago asking about, like, let's say your husband drops you off and he goes to park the car, what do you do? Or if it's raining or something like that and he wants you to put your name down. And I had a very similar situation happen to me with my husband a couple weeks ago. I'll put her question on the screen so you can see exactly what she's saying, but we didn't have a reservation, so we wanted to go up and see if it was possible for us to get in. He pulled the car up at the valet station. I stayed in the car. He got out of the car, told the valet, I'm just gonna run in and ask a question. I'm gonna leave my car here. I sat in the car while he ran in and asked them. They said, yeah, we have space for you. And then my husband said, okay, I'm gonna go get my wife and then I'm gonna park the car. So he comes back out, opens my car door, walks me into the restaurant, opens the door, and I stand and wait. I did not make eye contact with the hostess. I did not talk to her. I waited until my husband came back. He comes back, does the exchange with her, and then we went and sat down. It's not in any sense like you're better than the hostess. You're just letting your husband lead and be masculine.
So princess content is like the step before tradwife content, okay? Like, women get swept into the alt-right pipeline through this type of content, and this is one of those markers. She's not quite tradwife yet because she doesn't do the housework. You know, she's not like barefoot pregnant in the kitchen making her own sourdough vibes. She actually says that she has house cleaning staff. So she basically just like chills and works out all day and obviously makes content. And there are so many creators who are selling this exact lifestyle to young women on TikTok. This like soft life, feminine energy, princess treatment life, where they're saying find a man to take care of you and you don't have to do anything. And yeah, like, I get it. Most people don't want to work. So I get the idea of being taken care of and how nice that sounds to most people. But there is a reason why women fought for the right to work. We need access to resources, money, autonomy, human rights. Like, it should not be lost on any of us that women were only allowed bank accounts in like the 70s. Like, if I was trying to run this business, I don't know, even probably 30 years ago. I mean, we're almost in 2030, so that's kind of crazy. But like 50 years ago, like I probably would have never been able to get a bank loan, any type of financing. I mean, this business just like wouldn't exist because I'm a woman, okay? Like it cannot be lost on us that there is a reason why women fought for these things. And I don't know if we're just like too far removed from that reality that we're like going, backwards. And I understand a lot of this kind of soft life, like find a rich man to take care of you vibe. I get that that's also in response to the girl boss movement that was so assertive and was really like, women can do anything and you just need to be in that boardroom with men and like you need to have this masculine energy. Like the girl boss movement didn't really go very well for a lot of women. So I understand that there is now this kind of pendulum swing that is like so far and so extreme. And obviously everything's going right wing, alt-right anyways. So it all makes sense. But yeah, like this video is going viral for, I mean, in my opinion, the right reasons. People are watching it and commenting on it being like, no, girl, what are you talking about? This is so crazy. And there are also so many older women commenting on these videos from young women being like, I was you. Like, I was the young wife. I was the one who was like, had the princess treatment, the soft life. My husband took care of us. And then 20 years in, he left me and I had no credentials. I hadn't been in the workforce in 20 years. Like I was absolutely fucked and I had no money. And like, we need to listen to those stories. Like I know when you're younger, you feel like, oh my God, what does an older person have to say to me? Like that's going to be valid. But like the older I get, the more I'm like, oh my God, I want to talk to all of the older women ever. Like I'm so interested in hearing their perspectives and their advice because they have the wisdom, and they know what's going on. But anyways, also like in this particular scenario, okay, like I don't know any grown men who would want their wife to act like this. Like even my friends who have partners that I would consider like misogynistic pigs, like men that I do not consider to be like good guys, like none of them would want their wives to act like this. You have to think, what kind of man wants a wife who relinquishes all autonomy in public when she's with him? A man who is scary and controlling. We talk so much right now in the cultural zeitgeist about men falling down the alt-right pipeline, but we don't talk enough about women and how these types of videos and this type of content is like the precursor to that, Like, yes, of course, we've all talked about like trad wives. And like, obviously, we know that trad wife is on that pipeline, is far down that pipeline, okay? But like, what are the kind of earlier signs of that? Like what are the earlier markers, the earlier entries into it before you get to like full-blown pregnant, barefoot in a kitchen, making sourdough? All right, and the last story that I have for you guys is that Hailey Bieber has indirectly shut down divorce rumors after she was spotted in New York City over the weekend without her wedding ring. We know there are rumors about Justin and Hailey and like what's going on in their marriage, and I am trying really hard not to report on them because, I don't know, it feels icky. I think it's very obvious that Justin is like going through something and therefore their marriage is going through something. But over the weekend, obviously, Hailey stepped out, like I said, without her wedding ring, and that just like sounded alarm bells. Like people lost their minds because there's been all this speculation for so long and all these sources are coming out saying, yes, Hailey's going to leave Justin. And then she is spotted paparazzi'd without her wedding ring. She was like going out, okay? So people were like, oh my God. A couple days later, Hailey seemingly shut down these rumors. She took a mirror selfie where you can very obviously see her wedding ring. And then she also stepped out again, wearing her ring as well. But the tides are really starting to turn against Justin and towards Hailey. For the vast majority of their relationship, the internet and fans have largely been on like Team Justin, Team Selena, and obviously Hailey has just been like one of the most hated women on the internet for so long. And I would say in the last maybe like 6 months, now that we can really see how Justin is treating her as the mother of his child, people are starting to turn against Justin and see Hailey in a different light. There's all these videos that are just going super viral right now on TikTok of like compilations of Justin just like treating Hailey like trash. And everyone's like, oh, maybe if it wasn't Justin Bieber, the conversation, the narrative around this relationship in the public eye would be a little bit different. But Justin just has like such a stronghold on this very large cohort of young fans, and that has largely shaped the narrative for so long. But yeah, I think it is starting to turn a little bit. And I mean, I am in the camp of Hailey, please, I know he's going through it, but like nobody deserves to be treated the way that Hailey is treated by Justin, at least from what we can see. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. From what we can see publicly, if he's treating her like that publicly, I fear how he is treating her behind closed doors. Anyways, guys, that's it for Mini Scroll today. Thank you so much for listening. I love you guys. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. We're so close to 10K. And there will be a deep dive for you guys tomorrow. And then I will talk to you for Mini on Monday. Bye.